Good morning, world. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for being here at my live. I'm just going to move a little bit. I didn't want that power pole in the shot, so there we go. Let me see if I can change the angle a little bit more. I don't think I can, but yeah, barely. If you wander in here, we're looking at the neighbor's house, and the reason is because it was abandoned. So I feel safe pointing the camera at it. Nobody should be coming out or going in. If anyone does show up, they'll be with a U-Haul, and I will change the direction of the camera because they've been moving out of it for the last 2 days. The house is owned by the bank. And it's kind of a sad situation. You can tell. I'll tip the camera up a little bit. You can see up there at the chimney, it's falling apart. Until recently, the roof was in really bad disrepair. Like, it was definitely leaking. You could tell by looking at it, missing big chunks of shingle. So I didn't actually see the re-roof happen. It happened very quickly while we were out of town, I guess. And I didn't know where they got the money because the people who lived there were a mother, daughter, and granddaughter. An 80-year-old, well, in her 80s, my mom's age, another woman my age, and her daughter. The daughter looked like she was maybe in her 20s or 30s. And I spoke to the daughter and granddaughter 2 days ago. And I asked about the mother. I noticed that there had been no ambulances there in the last few months. And they said that at Christmas, that's how close we are. We're not real close. At Christmas, she moved into a convalescent home. And she was on a reverse mortgage. When someone who has a reverse mortgage is no longer on the property, in your contract, you have a certain amount of months to either buy out the reverse mortgage or vacate the property and let them sell it and give you whatever is left after the reverse mortgage is reimbursed and all the fees that are associated with that. I was part of a reverse mortgage situation with someone in my husband's family about 20 years ago. And we had 6 months to either buy out the reverse mortgage or sell the house and pay them or something. I mean, that would have been how we bought it out. What we ended up doing was getting a mortgage and moving into the home. The home was valued at close to $500,000, and she owed $150,000 on it. So we moved into it. We spent a lot of time fixing it up. It was really in bad shape, worth $500,000. It was just insane. Had a view of the Pacific Ocean from the backyard, which is probably why it had so much value. Then the market tanked, and we eventually sold it for $300,000, but that was after putting a lot of money into it. So the daughter and granddaughter that lived there, they got an apartment somewhere nearby and moved in the last couple days. moved all of their belongings out of the house, and now they're living at the apartment somewhere. I don't know exactly where. And then there's another daughter to the woman who lived there, around my age. And she was doing all of the yard work over there and taking care of everything in the yard, and also making sure her mom was taken care of. I'm not sure exactly what the situation was, but the two sisters don't get along. So the roof went on after the bank took possession of the house. If it was a 6-month buy it or get out situation, in June, the end of June, would have been when the bank took over, and the roof went on in the summertime. So it was either July or August that the new roof went on, and they were just, probably the bank was securing their asset, trying to keep it from falling apart more. And it just took them a couple of months longer to get the daughter and granddaughter out of the house. Now, the granddaughter, being in her 20s or 30s, very sweet girl, but probably someone who could not live on her own. And she had nothing to do with whatever goes on between the mom and her sister. The daughter is a very sweet girl, but like I said, she probably is someone who could never live on her own. So she wasn't part of that drama that I know of, but there was some family drama. There's always family drama, right? You get two people, there's going to be family drama. Hello, Dimka. I just noticed you've been chatting. I apologize for not seeing it. Hello, Lalit. Lalit, I'm in the United States. I'm in the state of Tennessee in the United States. And I will check out your channel. And if your channel has stuff that I love to see, I will definitely support your channel. I wish I could change the angle of this. I'm going to see if there's something I can put near the phone. I'm using a coffee cup as a phone stand once again because I left my phone stand over at the ranch yesterday. Hey, Buckeye for Life. Yeah, Lalit wants support. You might want to send Lalit some money. That house is falling apart. It really is. And I'm noticing a lot of personal stuff still up on that balcony on the second floor there. Everything is off the front porch to the right. There's a chair on the front porch to the left. See, they've got an apartment over there. So part of the house is an apartment, and the other part of the house is the main house still. We're in a neighborhood where you can have multiple families living in one home. The upstairs, though, I believe the daughter lived up there. I think that was the daughter's room. Now, the daughter's my age. She's in her 60s. So she's not young, but her daughter must have lived in the bedroom, maybe downstairs, and the mom lived in the main part of the house, which would have been the kitchen, bathroom, living room, bedroom, and I don't know, maybe a kitchenette in the other part. But I'm wondering if they're going to come get all that stuff off the patio with the bank owning the house. I never did see an eviction notice like taped or stapled to the house or anything, but that doesn't mean one didn't go there, and they may have been mailed something and said, you have X number of days to get out. If today's the day, unless they get here before the bank gets here and secures the property with new locks on the doors and all that, they could come get their stuff if they get here before the bank does all that. I didn't see or hear them like destroying the house or anything, but that house needs a lot of work. For one thing, the roof that got put on, it was done so fast, and they didn't do any work around it, like the gutters, nothing was really done. So whoever buys that house is going to have to do a lot of repair work, and they might even have to put on a new roof just to do some of that repair work. Hi, Manisha. Hi, Mohammed. My channel is mostly ducks and goats, you guys, and then drag racing, motorcycles, and cars, generally on the weekends. Although I've had a couple of weeks off, and I won't be at any drag races this weekend either, unless there's something going on at the track locally. I'll go check them out and see. Sometimes they have local bracket racing that's fun to watch. Manisha, as far as how much money that house is, it's not for sale right now, but I'm guessing it would sell for around 160 maybe. Maybe. It depends on how much work is required. If they have an open house, I'll go look and see what kind of condition it's in. But I anticipate it's in bad shape. What we would call a gut job. Because look at it, well, again, you can't really see the chimney way up at the top there. Those bricks have been blowing off the top of the chimney for years when we get high wind. And I think the inside of the house is in similar condition because the woman who lived there for so long is in her 80s. Her daughter and granddaughter just moved in about a year and a half ago, and they didn't even mow the lawn or trim the bushes or anything, so I'm guessing they weren't doing any home repairs either. Manisha, Tri-Cities. It's called Tri-Cities. Thank you to the 3 of you who gave me a thumbs up. I do appreciate that. I don't generally do this. I wanted to do the sunrise over my other neighbor's roof this morning. I was up at, I think 3:30 in the morning till 5:30. And then I went back to sleep and I woke up after the sun had already come up. Sunrise was 7:31 this morning. I think I woke up at 8:34, so I wasn't able to do the sunrise like I had planned. Oh, we've got pigeons on the other roof next door. Let me just scroll here. Pigeons up there being pigeons. I don't want my phone to fall. It's just sitting in a coffee cup, literally just leaning. Hey, Randy. I'm in Northeast Tennessee, Randy. And that house will be going on the market very soon. It will probably be an as-is bank-owned property because it is owned by the bank and they don't tend to do any work on it. Although, like I said earlier, I think they did spend the money to put a roof on it just to sort of keep their asset from falling apart anymore. You could say the unkept one has good bones, if it has good bones. I don't know if it's plumb and level and all that inside. I know our house isn't. Ours is 100 years old. That one's probably around the same time frame. It's got that plastic siding on it. I don't know what's under it, but I'm guessing it's wood. I suppose it could be brick. I'm going to say all the electrical and plumbing needs to be redone. The floors might need to be redone. The daughter and granddaughter had 3 dogs living in there. 3 little dogs, but they'd only been there for about a year and a half, so maybe they didn't cause any damage at all. I don't know. Don't know what the situation is with the ceilings and the walls. You know, after 100 years, the plaster starts to give way sometimes, and it's just a mess. So whoever buys that house is going to get a bargain at the beginning, and then they're going to have to spend a lot of money fixing it up. That porch above, the little Hey, Witchy Chick. This is in Northeast Tennessee, real close to Virginia and North Carolina. Hurricane Helene hit just about 20 miles or 30 miles south of us, and about as many miles east of us. We got some of the wind. In fact, we're still dealing with some of the trees that came down during Helene on our property. So it'll be for sale soon, and I'll actually show if I go in. If there's an open house, I'll go in and record it. Oh, Witchy Chick, what part of Tennessee is she moving to? There's so many different cultures in Tennessee. Like, I'm in the Appalachia region, and then we've got Central, which is Nashville area and Chattanooga, and then you've got the western part, Memphis being a popular destination, and then all the way up to the northwest corner, which is totally different from Memphis. We go to Knoxville quite a bit. Oh, she's going to be outside. You know what? Her part of the state is really expensive if she's going to be near Nashville. I heard housing prices, insurance, vehicle registration, and all that is really high over there. I don't know what the taxes are, but they're probably higher than they are here as far as like food and clothing, material purchases. I think here we're at, oh gosh, I don't shop very often, but we're pretty high. Our part of Tennessee is very low, like super low costs. Our vehicle registration one year was $5 per vehicle. That's because they had a surplus. It's usually 10. Oh, you're from Seattle. Okay. Yeah, well, it won't be as expensive as Seattle, but it'll be close. It's people that move there say it's not much cheaper than it was when they lived in California. And I mean, parts of California obviously are more expensive, like the Bay Area for sure. Some of the hills around Los Angeles, the ones that didn't burn in the fire, pretty expensive. We were from a not so expensive part of California. But for instance, California, we owned 20 acres with no house on it, and then we owned a house on 3 acres just a few miles away. And we sold all that, and we bought 65 acres here and a house. And the house is about 10 minutes away from our 65 acres. And we still have money left over. So registration for vehicles, if you need a new tag on it, like if you buy a vehicle from somebody or brand new, you have to buy a tag for it. And that's what we called license plates out in California. They call them tags here. You only need one tag. You don't get two, just one on the back. It's $15 if you need a new tag. I think we might have paid more for our commercial truck. Yeah, it is beautiful, Witchy Chick, you're right. It's almost always beautiful here. Like, there's a couple of months in the wintertime when there's no snow and everything is just dead looking, unless you have a conifer forest. It's very dead looking. All the maples, all the ash, all the oaks, everything's dropped their leaves. But when it snows, it's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous when it snows. I'm sorry, I've got really bad asthma, guys. I use my inhaler, but my lungs are just, my vocal cords are just exhausted from like 5 days of asthma. Anyway, my husband eats in restaurants. I can't eat in restaurants. I have too many allergies and all that. So he goes and he'll get a whole meal for like $6 in a restaurant. The whole thing. He goes to a little place down the road, and It's run by a lady, and she takes all the orders, and she remembers me. I've only been in there twice, and the second time I went in, she remembered me from like 8 months earlier. Oh yeah, I remember you were in here last time with, and she mentioned how many people were in our party and all that. I'll just get a drink while I'm there, something, a soda or something. But he pays like $6, maybe $8 total for a meal, for a whole meal, like the whole meal, everything. It's really cheap here. We buy hay out in California. We were paying $15 a bale, I would say, average 15 a bale. Here we pay maybe 5. And hay is important to us because we raise livestock. Mostly, right now we only have goats, but we've had goats, sheep, and cattle. So hay is a big part of our budget. So yeah, that house is going to be for sale really soon, and I'm excited about it. The ladies who lived there were very quiet. There was no drama, not that you could see, and you really couldn't hear it much. Unless their dogs were barking, because they had 3 little yappy dogs. Sometimes the dogs would bark, and then somebody would scream at them to shut up. That's the only drama. But I'm looking forward to somebody buying it and fixing it up, because the house next door, I'll try to show it. My computer's kind of in the way, but the house next door has recently gone through an amazing transformation. It was purchased last year. I would say about a year and a half ago. Moving in on 2 years. And they just did everything brand new on that house. I think the siding is the same, but they did all new windows. They secured the chimney and put plaster on it. They put the wrought iron fence around. I'll give you another view just so you can see. They put the wrought iron fence around it. They planted everything. It was just grass. They put thousands and thousands of dollars. Hey, Graham Churchill, hello. Old school days, very different. Yeah, 1989, sure. I was a mom with 2 little kids in 1989. Anyway, so they've spent multiple thousands of dollars on landscaping plants alone, plus the labor to put them in. And that wrought iron fence, I don't know how much that was. They've just spent a ton of money on that property and really brought it up in the neighborhood. It's beautiful. So I'm looking forward to that happening right here. I have a lot of hope for whoever decides to buy it and fix it up. I imagine they'll take that ramp off the front, the handicapped ramp. And I mean, that was always handy when the lady that lived there had to go in the ambulance. She couldn't just ride in a car. She had to go in an ambulance to the doctor's appointments. And whenever she was sick and had to go to the hospital. Oh, there's geese flying over me in a V formation. They're heading south, you guys. They woke up this morning and said, oh no, it's getting cold. It was 50 degrees this morning. The leaves are starting to fall. Our leaf peeper season is coming up. We've got family coming from the West Coast, a family member from the West Coast coming, oh gosh, next week, I guess. Next weekend, so a week away. And she has not seen the leaves change. So she's looking forward to that. I'm hoping it'll be good. We should be able to drive to wherever they're changing. If they haven't changed here, we can go up onto the Appalachian Trail and she'll be able to see them up there. We're real close to that. Hi, Dick Krams. It is in Northeast Tennessee and there is no price on it right now. It's just been taken over by the bank. The people who live there were just moving out for the last 2 days. I think they're done. They might still come back with the U-Haul, I'm not positive. But they may have abandoned. There's a lot of stuff on that upstairs porch. Hey, Deborah Oki from Muskogee. I love that song when I was a kid. Muskogee's changed a lot, hasn't it? It's kind of like our cities here in Tennessee. They went from being these, what people thought were idyllic southern cities to, oh my goodness. I'm just going to call you 121 because I can't pronounce the first part of your name. But yes, that house across the street has tons of potential. It may be an auction. It may be a for sale, a bank sale. No, we're in Northeast Tennessee, Deborah. Very similar to Georgia, though, as far as the houses and all the other stuff goes. I'm guessing it won't sell for more than $160,000, just because it's a gut job. They did, like I've said earlier, the bank did put a new roof on it recently when they took ownership of the house, probably at the end of June, because after that, a new roof popped up real quick. They wanted to secure their asset while they did all the paperwork to get the daughter and granddaughter out. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Kudmap. So, it took a few months for the daughter and granddaughter to get a place to live, several months, because the end of June would have been when the bank would have taken possession of the property. And here we are in October. So they had quite a few months to find a place. And they found a Section 8 housing situation. That's not easy to find. They are both on government assistance for disability, and they don't have a lot of money. And I don't believe either one of them has a job at all, like nothing, unless there's something under the table they do, but I don't think so, because they hardly ever came out of the house even. Yeah, 121, I think you're right. The bones are probably solid. Now, under that siding, you're either going to find wood or brick, because that's that plastic siding that everybody fell for decades ago, and they still fall for it. Oh, some geese are flying over the house right now. They might have gone by too fast. They're in a V formation flying south, you guys. The Canadian geese are leaving the pond. They raise their babies right here in town. It's been fun watching them raise their babies every spring and summer. It's just so neat. Now they're all flying away in their little family groups. There is a sketchy sidewalk situation on the other side. Some houses have sidewalks, some don't. Most do not. But some of the sidewalk could just be covered up with sediment, and grass has grown over it from lack of repair over the years. That side of the street is mostly rentals. Right across from us, it appears to be mostly rentals. And it would be fun to find a sidewalk under some of that grass. I've seen that on some of those channels. I watch some of the yard channels, where they go in and they cut the grass for free. The Blessing Boys and, gosh, I can't think of the other ones. There are 3 channels I watch. And they drive around, or they get suggestions from people, and they go and they do their yards for free. The worst house in the neighborhood. And there's always a story attached to it. And sometimes they find a sidewalk under all of the grass. That house over there, it has a bit of a divot that looks like it might have a sidewalk. I haven't been over there paying attention lately. Yeah, Blessing Boys do. They're very cool. They do some nice stuff for people. Wish I had the energy. I can barely do stuff for myself. In fact, I've got to mow my grass today. Ooh, the evil Prime van just went by. Oh my gosh, my dog hates that van. It brings things for her, but she hates it. That was my neighbor Andrew walking by. Early morning for Andrew. He must need his first cup of coffee. That's the earliest I've ever seen him walk by. Yes, 121. That was our neighbor, Andrew. Randy, I can't do what I used to do either. I remember pulling wire for my dad when my dad bought an old house for $1 once that was going to be torn down. Oh, the Prime van is coming back. You guys, my dog is going to go freaking ballistic. It's for me. I've got to go get my package. Oh no, maybe it's for the neighbor. You know what? I'm going to go assume it's for me. I'll be right back, you guys. Here we go. Let's watch the drama unfold. You guys want to unbox with me? Let me see what happened to the chat. Let's see. Da, da, da. What's on the other side? Another house. What's somebody's rock? Blah, blah, blah. The street is very close, Deborah, and it's a 25-mile-an-hour speed limit, and we do have a stop light at the end of this block. Let's see. The other homes on the street look to be right. Yes, they're very well kept. It's the other side of the street's going to be gorgeous, 121, when they finish that. And what is with the lawn? Hey, Hobo, I'm not sure what you mean. I'm proud to be an Okie from Skokie. Absolutely. Yeah, the lawns are green. Okay, let's see. We'll go back to, actually, turn this and see what we got. No, I'm not going to turn it. No, I'm not going to turn it. I haven't done my fall porch maintenance yet, you guys. Everything's hidden from the road. You can't see it, but oh my goodness. Let's see. That's the house. Okay. If anything good is in here, I'll let you know. It's an 8.2-pound box. Let's see. Well, okay, I can do an unboxing. Just a second. I don't have a cutter. I've got to go in the house and get a cutter. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out where I can do this to where you guys can see it. Oh gosh. Okay, we're gonna try this. What have we got there? There we go. Oops. It's just in my coffee cup, so it's gonna slide. I need a piece of bark or something. It's not mine, you guys. Oh yeah, maybe there's something in there that's mine. Let's see. Ah, sorry. All right. What is this? What is this? It's shipped from Pennsylvania. I don't know what it is. It's 5.8 pounds. Okay, I don't want to open it. It's not mine. Oh, these are pads for doggies. Look at that. Dog and puppy leak-proof 5-layer potty training pads. They are for me. Not literally for me, but they're so that my husband and I can go out of town and my dogs don't ruin the carpet when we're gone, because we generally take my husband's dog with us. He can emotionally handle travel in the motorhome, and he's a good citizen. My dogs are absolute disasters. So good, got puppy piddle pads. Okay, well, it's not a big box. He said they were on special. They were on clearance. I imagine they were on clearance because it's the end of summer, or it's fall. So people are not, like we can see what's going on my computer. People are not buying them because they're not going on vacation as much, so they're getting rid of inventory. So if this was a good enough price, we'll order more because we do go through quite a few. We're gone for up to 5 days, and the girls are here throughout the day. Okay, this is also for me, probiotics for my dog because she's had a bad tummy for the last few weeks. And then I didn't expect to have an opening of packages, you guys. Quest soft and chewy protein cookie, white chocolate macadamia. That sounds good. God, my husband gets the best stuff. 15 grams of protein, 1 gram of sugar. He lives off these things, you guys. He really does. I can't eat them because protein blend, butter, some kind of fiber, macadamia nut, calcium caseinate, palm oil, water. Maybe I can eat these. Oh my gosh, you guys, I can eat these. Oh no, it's got soy lecithin. I can't eat them. Dang it. Might have soy lecithin. That ticks me off. I could eat them if they didn't have soy. So you got 2 boxes of those. All right. Now, if I take that in the house and leave it in the living room, the dogs will eat the cookies. So I won't do that. I apologize for clearing my throat constantly. I've got 2 tomato plants here that are just barely holding on to life. I just need to take them to the goats, let the goats eat them. And I've got a bunch of pots. I need to dump all the dirt into a container and take the dirt and the pots over to the ranch and just put them away for the winter. And then, yeah, that's my story. See, everything's hidden from the road, but it's pretty messy back here. Then I need to get everything swept and ready for winter. All right, back to looking at the neighbors. Hey guys, thanks for being with me when I did that surprise unboxing. I really didn't expect to do an unboxing this morning. Had no idea we had a package coming. Actually, I shouldn't say that. My husband did warn me a package was coming. And he always warns me because if I do leave it, like put it in the, oh, there's another package being delivered across the street. If I do leave it either on the kitchen table or in the living room, the dogs will tear into the box because they can smell those cookies. Okay, my husband will get, oh, that's a cool little thing that just went by. A little 3-wheeled thingamajig. He'll get sometimes 4 to 5 packages a day delivered. Yes, Hobo, the house across the street will be on the market very soon if it isn't already sold. It is a bank-owned home. It's been bank-owned by my math since the end of June. If they had a 6-month to either purchase or vacate on their reverse mortgage. The woman who owned the reverse mortgage in her 80s moved into a convalescent hospital And I know for me, I experienced a reverse mortgage about 20 years ago. And we had 6 months to either purchase the property, basically pay off the reverse mortgage, or turn it over to them. Sort of, either way, we had to pay the money. So we chose to pay the money. We got a mortgage, paid the money, and lived in the house for a while. Yeah, we all need flowers out front. We have bulbs that pop up in the winter. End of winter, we have tulips and daffodils pop up. And the grass strip out in front of our house there, that easement, I'm responsible for keeping it mowed. The city came in, not the city, sorry, the utility company came in. Yeah, Deborah, the problem with geraniums is they die every year, so you have to tuck them away in the winter. I've got a geranium out back. I have to put about 20 plants in my basement every year. I bring some into my living room and some go in the basement. I could just let them all die like everybody else does, but I hate when plants die for no reason. Anyway, the neighbors next to them have flowers. They have roses and, oh gosh, I can't think of the name of it. There's a native flower they have over there. They've just got a ton of bushes over there. They've got so much maintenance. Yeah, I don't know how they do it. I honestly don't know how they keep track of everything. They've planted so much over there, but they've got some beautiful stuff. It's really pretty. I've never been in their yard, but I imagine looking out from the house, it's very pretty. They do need to mow their grass. But right now is not a time. We've all got ditch lilies in our yard, and we've got a lot of milkweed that blooms. Not a lot is blooming right now. Most of the blooms are gone. Like I said, the ditch lilies, they're done. Roses, of course, they bloom really well a lot of the year. My mom had roses here. We bought this house from her when she moved into assisted living. And she had roses here, but some kind of a disease came and all the roses died. Yeah, the neighbors both have flags, and we've got an American flag on our house and a Tennessee flag. I would say a good portion of the neighborhood has flags. That flag there in front of their house needs to be replaced. It's real faded. It doesn't have a light on it at night, and they never take it down. I hope they keep that flagpole, but some people don't like flagpoles. We'll see. I'm really looking forward to somebody fixing it up. They're going to have quite a purse. 121, did you know that in the UK, flying a British flag is considered racist? Right now, there's a push in the UK to make flying their own flag and what do they call it? An offense, because people are offended by it. The illegal immigrants that are there are offended by the British flag, so people are actually being told they can't have that. The UK is a mess right now, politically speaking. It's an absolute mess, and religiously as well. We've pretty much always had a flag, even if it was just a little one hanging off, in a little tiny holder. But for the last few years at our properties, we've had some pretty substantial flagpoles. My husband even took one flagpole down before we listed our house for sale and put up a smaller one just so he could bring the big one with us. Because you don't spend thousands of dollars on a flagpole and then abandon it 2 years later. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, the traffic here it's a lot. It's a highway. It's a state highway, even though the speed limit is only 25. So the title of this video was losing weight or something like that. What was it? Let me see. Yeah, I losing 10 pounds. I started gaining weight in the spring this year because in the spring of 2023 I had to have major abdominal surgery and I lost a bunch of weight that I didn't really have to lose. And in the spring of 2024 I had to have an even more invasive abdominal surgery. And I'm 5'6". I got down to 111 pounds after the surgery because I was in so much pain. I couldn't eat. I could literally eat, but pain level wise, I just did not want to eat. And I got down to 111 pounds. So coming up on the spring of 2025, after 2 years of having these terribly invasive abdominal surgeries, I realized if I'm at my normal weight, which is 120, and I have that same surgery, I'm going to be in trouble. So I started eating. I started eating anything I could and anything I wanted. Now, I'm very limited on what I can eat. Like those cookies, just because of a tiny bit of soy lecithin in them, the possibility that there could be a tiny bit of soy lecithin, I can't eat them. So I'm limited in what I can eat. But I can eat things like Jell-O and pudding and most ice creams, or many ice creams, I should say. And I can eat gluten-free bread as long as it doesn't have almond flour in it or soy protein. There are a few tortillas I can eat. Most of them taste nasty, so I don't eat them too much. But I can eat most corn tortillas, so I can make myself quesadillas. I can eat all the cheese I want. So I started purposely gaining weight, like extra helpings of mashed potatoes, extra helpings of meat. And by the time I was ready for my test, I have to have a colonoscopy every year, although I don't have to this year. But anyway, I did already this year. I don't have to next year, I should say. By the time I got ready for my colonoscopy, I wanted to have 10 extra pounds on me because I was convinced that I was going to have another major surgery in the spring, late spring. Well, I didn't have to. So over late winter, early spring, I had put on 10 pounds. My pants weren't fitting me. My shirts weren't really fitting me. I tend to gain weight all up and down my whole body, not just below the hips, not just above the hips. I mean, I gain it as much across my rib cage as I do across my butt, everything. Hey, when Larry sings, nice to see you. So I had to start losing weight when I had my colonoscopy, and it was clear and I didn't have to have surgery. So I had 10 extra pounds on me and I had to cut back. And you guys, at 62 and almost 63 years old, like in just a matter of a few weeks, I'll be 63. It is not easy to lose weight, especially for someone who has been left with almost no energy since the last surgery. I just don't have it in me. I used to be able to go for hours and hours and hours, and now the only reason I'm here right now is because I'm sitting down. I will mow the grass today. That's in my plan, to mow the grass in the front yard anyway. I don't know about the backyard. And I would like to vacuum my living room. I'd like to start shampooing my living room carpet. I try to do that fairly regularly. Anyway, losing weight has been difficult. I can't walk like I used to walk multiple miles a day. And I'm eating about 1/4 what I normally eat. And this morning when I got on the scale, I had finally lost the last of that 10 pounds that I gained on purpose. So that feels good. It really does. And what I've had to do is cut everything, like just cut everything. I have sometimes a bowl of cereal, sometimes a bowl of rice for breakfast, and I have half of what I used to have. Not when I was trying to gain weight, but previous to trying to gain weight. Hey, Junior Garza, good to see you. Good morning. So I'll have a very small bowl of oatmeal, or yes, oatmeal as well, or Cheerios, or sometimes I'll have a meat patty. We've got a lot of meat in the freezer. Or, like a chop, something like that for breakfast. And then I might skip lunch, or breakfast might be at like 10:30 or 11. Like today, breakfast is going to be late because I haven't eaten yet. And then I'll have something around 3 in the afternoon, a little bit of something. Again, maybe a little bit of rice, maybe a chunk of meat, maybe some cheese. I don't know, something small, an apple. I generally try to eat 1 or 2 apples a day. And then for dinner, I might just have, again, a tiny little bowl of something. So I'm eating for someone who is fairly sedentary. I don't do a lot of physical activity anymore. I don't even walk my goats. I used to walk my goats down to a lower pasture. I could walk them down to that pasture, but there's no way I could walk them back up. I just don't have the energy. No, Junior Garza, you've never been blocked. So losing the 10 pounds has been uncomfortable. I've been hungry. When I wake up in the morning, I'm very hungry, and I don't satisfy that hunger by immediately eating. I have to wait a little while. I do have a cup of decaf coffee with milk, and I only drink whole milk. I don't drink the other stuff. And I put a little bit of, I use Truvia sweetener. I don't use sugar. I don't like sugar in my coffee. It's got a different flavor to me that I don't enjoy. I like sugar in my tea. I don't like sugar in my coffee. So I'll drink, 3 or 4 of these. That's a big cup right there. I'll drink 3 or 4 of those in the morning, kind of fill myself up with liquid. And then I'll have a late breakfast or early lunch, a brunch. How's that? But I go to bed hungry. Losing this 10 pounds has been a trick. Now the trick is going to be eating normally for my new situation, because I don't have the energy I used to have. I want to go join the gym as a senior. We have a gym. It's free for me to join the gym. I want to be able to join the gym and go there 3 or 4 times a week and walk on the treadmill and do some weightlifting. I used to be a bodybuilder when I was young, many, many decades ago. I want to be able to do stuff like that, but I can't. I can't count on having energy for that. So I have to eat like someone who is sedentary. And I'll tell you what, if you are sedentary in your older age, you have no choice but to cut back on your calories big time. You just have to cut way back on your calories. When I was in college in my nutrition class, I fell in love with my nutrition textbook. And I used to buy the older versions that were no longer being used. I would find them either online or in a thrift store or something. And I've always collected that particular nutrition book because it was so good, had so much good information in it. And with all the diet gurus and all the people with all the specialties and all, what I have learned is, quite honestly, what I learned back in college in the early 1980s, you have to eat less. You have to eat. Now, unless you have a condition, okay? If you are on prednisone, it's going to be very hard to lose weight because your brain is going to tell you to eat everything in the house, and you're going to be, I think, gaining water weight. Bob, hey, yes. Ariad, yes. Decaf is, I don't even know what to say about decaf, but I like hot liquid. I'll even drink hot water if there's nothing. I just like hot liquid. I really do. It's good for me. It also helps move the bowels, ladies and gentlemen. Poop talk. It's a good way to start your day with a hot liquid, in my opinion. For me, that's always been my life, hot liquid. During the day and in the afternoon, evening, a lot of times I'll drink an iced decaf coffee. But mornings I do that. But what I learned in nutrition class, and after 6 decades of being a human being, is you have to simply eat less, especially if you're not getting exercise. I mean, just 3 years ago, I could eat like a normal person and not gain weight and not lose weight because I was, cutting wood, splitting wood, stacking wood, herding my goats, taking care of the coops, doing housework, although I hate housework, taking care of the yard, doing all kinds of things, running around with the grandkids. They spend all summer with us generally, although I think that's coming to an end now that they're all teenagers. I was active. I was everywhere. Oh, and by the way, this Kathleen Turner voice is brought to you by Asthma. You're welcome. And there's no charge for the voice, although if you want to give me a thumbs up, that'd be awesome. Oh gosh, Bob. Bob, you have to be careful what you eat. If you've got some kind of a condition, then yeah, it isn't a simple calories in, calories out situation. But if you are a normal human being, you have to just eat less. I'm sorry, it's just a fact. I'll make potato soup in the next day or two. I've got to make a bunch of potato soup. I'll make a big old pot of that. And I used to eat a big, huge bowl with cheese and bacon and sour cream on top. What I'll do now, like I say, it's going to be interesting. Now that I've reached my goal, I have to learn how to eat normally and not lose weight and not gain weight because I want to stay right around 120. But I'll probably just have a small bowl instead of a big bowl. I really don't use my big cereal bowls anymore. I generally, unless I'm having oatmeal, I generally use the fruit bowls or dessert bowls because I just don't need the calories. And I have to trade things out. I can't have gluten, so I can't have most beer. But if I do have a beer, my dog is upset because the neighbor's talking and her dog is out. I've got to go close the shade so my dog can't see the neighbor. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So I got to figure out what I can eat, what I can't eat. I generally eat for a long, long time. Every morning for breakfast, I had 2 duck eggs, which is, we raise ducks, so we have duck eggs. And duck eggs they have a lot more nutrition, a lot more calories. They've got more of everything than a chicken egg. So eating 1 duck egg is almost like eating 2 chicken eggs. It's very close. But I started doing that I would say about 7 years ago. We had quail and chickens and guinea and pea fowl. So we had a variety of different eggs. And when we moved, we sold everything except 1 duck. We brought him with us. That's Tuffy. You can see him in some of my short videos. You'll see Tuffy. He's our old man. We've had him for years. He's about 7 years old now. And all the quail, the pea fowl were gone. The guineas were gone. The chickens, I sold all them. So we just have duck eggs now. But I've been eating 2 duck eggs for breakfast for a long, long time. And 1 piece of bacon. And maybe a piece of gluten-free toast with butter on it, maybe a little bit of jam. That's been my breakfast for years. Now that I'm in my 60s, that breakfast is my whole day's worth of calories. That's all I can handle because I've had the 2 abdominal surgeries have removed quite a bit, I guess, of my colon. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know if things are moving. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway. My dog is obnoxious, you guys. She's so obnoxious. So I eat a lot less. I can't. And I'll weigh a couple nights ago. Pardon me. A couple nights ago we went to, oh my gosh. Thank you to the 15 who gave me a thumbs up. That's awesome. We went to Michael Waltrip Brewery a few nights ago. I can't eat anything on their menu, but I can drink their Huckleberry hard seltzer. In fact, I'm going to take a growler. If I can find my growler, I'm going to take it down there and have them fill it up. That was my dinner, you guys. It was a hard seltzer. It's like 35, 40 calories. I don't know, something ridiculous. But that was dinner. And when I came home, I might have had a piece of cheese just to round things out a little bit. So if you're struggling, if you struggle with weight and you struggle with diets and exercise and all of that, all I can say is from someone who I have not struggled with my weight for a long, long time. When I was younger, I kind of did. I weighed more at one point than I did when I was 9 months pregnant with any of my girls. But I was also a bodybuilder at the time, so a lot of that was muscle weight. I was very, very muscular. But when I stopped lifting weights 5 days a week, stopped swimming 5 to 7 nights a week, stopped running and riding my bike everywhere in town. When I stopped all that, I kept eating the way I had been eating when I was doing all that. I got a job, 12 hours a day. It took me 45 minutes to an hour to get to work. So I just worked, went home, went to sleep, got up, went to work, worked. That routine was 5 to 6 days a week most of the time. Sometimes it was 7 days a week, depending on what was going on. The job itself was fairly sedentary. It was guarding at a nuclear power plant. So I would walk to my guard station and then sit for however many hours until I got my relief came around. Anyway, I was still eating the way I had been eating when I was bodybuilding. It took me a little while to figure out I couldn't do that. And I did put on weight. The muscle literally turned to fat. And it's like my body just metabolized all the muscle, turned it into fat. I don't even know what happened chemically in my body, but it happened. Hey, Derek, good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while because I haven't been live. I've had the worst asthma. You guys can tell my throat is just shot. I've tried. Not only is my throat shot, but the idea is just exhausting, the idea of going live, because I've just been exhausted, just not breathing well. My inhaler is working-ish, but not great, because I did use it this morning at about 3:30, and it should still be working, and it's not. Anyway, she hears the UPS van. Now, that van usually stops here, and that monster spits out packages, assaults our house with packages. And it looks like we might have another package, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. Yes. Okay, guys, we're not going to have an unboxing, but let's go see what the box says. I've got 3. Oh my gosh. Someone's been
right there. You want me to put it on the other side?
Here's great.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I'll let him know he's got some stuff to move. Goodness. I don't think this was I don't think he knew these were coming today. Huh, interesting. Vavor. Well, you have a good day. Hope these are your biggest packages.
Oh, you have a great day.
Thank you. Okay, we've got a broken box. Let me see. Gotta get this off of here. Don't want to show my home address for some reason on the internet. Okay, there's that. So the box has been repaired. I don't know what's under it, so I've got to check that out. Oh shoot, I'm gonna have to let my husband check that out because I need the cutter and I really don't want to bust into it. All right, guys, whatever Vavor is, that's what we got 3 boxes of. He's quite prolific with the online ordering. That's 4 packages so far today. That's hilarious. My husband loves to shop. I hate shopping. I am not a shopper. Now, when I do shop, I spend a lot of money. Like one time I went into a Harley dealership and bought myself a motorcycle. Previous to that, I had walked into a Honda dealership and bought myself a Honda motorcycle. So when I do shop, I generally plan it ahead and, you know, budget and do all the things. I like to pay cash. Hi, Rommel. Anyway, gosh, there's 10 people in here. Thanks to the 16 that gave a thumbs up. I appreciate that. That was kind. So guys, like I was saying, if you do struggle with weight, unless it's an actual diagnosed medical condition, like thyroid problems are big, unless you're on a medication, like if you're taking pain pills, chances are you are craving carbohydrates and sweets 24/7. If you're on certain antidepressants, chances are you're craving food all of the time. Prednisone will make you crave food all of the time. If you're battling one of those, that is almost impossible. I can actually, I can't even imagine, I should say, I can't imagine battling a medication, hey Lee, that goes against you. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with big girls except the health risks of being a big girl. I remember I had a husband many, many years ago, and he cheated on me. So, you know, it was like a thing. Anyway, he had a girlfriend at one point that was a little bit heavier. And he told me one day, he goes, because I've always been thin since I got over that whole thing when I was weightlifting. I've been thin. I've been 115 to 120 pounds most of my adult life. And he said to me, and we were separated, so him dating this other woman was no big deal. I didn't care. Didn't care what he did. But he said he had forgotten how nice it felt to hug someone that actually had meat on their bones. I was just like, you jerk. Hey, Meadow, I am going to block you if you continue that, just so you know. I mean, I'm giving you the opportunity to erase your comment and stop, or I'll block you and you can go somewhere else, because you're probably a 12-year-old boy who is just getting his feet wet in the adult world, or thinks he is. And, okay. All right, you're gone. See ya. Let's see what they say. They say to hide user from the channel. Yep, we hid the prepubescent boy from the channel. Goodbye. I don't know if he can still talk. I guess he can have a good time leaving comments nobody can see. Anyway, if you are fighting medication that causes you to crave food, I have the utmost sympathy for you. That is a really difficult place to be. It's a horrible place to be, because you never... Yes, I am married, Lee. Absolutely. You're never going to crave the things you should eat, like vegetables. Right. You're never going to crave steamed broccoli. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Or, you know, even steamed carrots. You're just not. You're going to want to put brown sugar and marshmallows on those carrots. tons of butter, all the stuff, right? And I get it. If you're fighting one of those, I don't even know what to tell you. I I would encourage you to find a way to live without whatever it is you're taking, but that's a hard thing too. I'm not going to tell you to go off your prednisone, especially since every now and then I have to take it because one of my autoimmune issues flares up and I have to take prednisone. During those times, I think about nothing but food. That is all I think about. The only way to stop me from eating is to drop me somewhere in the middle of nowhere where there is no food available. You do fasting, Lee. Okay, you don't eat till 6. Well, 6 what? 6 p.m.? Like every day? See, I do have a blood sugar issue. So if I don't eat, I do have a problem. I have to eat carbohydrates before I go to sleep at night, and I have to eat carbohydrates at some point before, like, say, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If I don't eat carbohydrates, I start throwing up, and then I lose the use of my arms and legs. I get real shaky. It's just the same. Low blood sugar is low blood sugar. I just naturally have low blood sugar anyway. So if I don't have carbs, so I can't do the fasting. Yeah, Mike, you're right. Carbs are bad for blood sugar. I know there's all kinds of people on the internet that talk about carbs are not what's wrong with your blood sugar or whatever. These people aren't doctors. They're just, no, I'm not a diabetic, Mike. I'm not a diabetic. I have a low blood sugar problem. I forget what, hypoglycemia? I don't know. I have something that I naturally have very low blood sugar. So I do have to, I've kind of over the decades learned that if I have carbs after, say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I can wake up in the morning and I'm not sick from low blood sugar. I had to have a surgery once years ago. My husband and it was when we first got married, I'm pretty sure. I had the procedure. I was very sleepy afterwards and I forgot to eat that day. And I woke up in the morning throwing up. And he didn't know what to do. I just went from sound asleep to just throwing up. I mean, like, really bad, right? There was nothing in my stomach to throw up either because I hadn't eaten. I said, just go get me some grapes. That's all I need is a handful of grapes. And sure enough, I ate like 6 grapes and was better enough. There was enough sugar in the grapes that I could get up and have a real breakfast. And then my blood sugar was fine. But I have to be really, really careful. And when I was in the hospital, once I had abdominal surgery, I think it was, what was it, 2007 or something maybe? And I told them when they, when I went into the hospital, I said, I need extra, is it Duclos? I need extra sugar. It's one of the Loses in my IV. So it couldn't be D5W, which is Duclos, I think. It had to be something else. And they just ignored me. They ignored me and gave me a regular IV. I said, I need more sugar in my IV or I will wake up throwing up. And I had just had abdominal surgery. Sure enough, 2 a.m, I woke up throwing up. The nurse is like, oh my gosh, what's going on? She didn't know what was going on. I said, it's my blood sugar. I need more sugar. So she brought me, I think she brought me cranberry juice. Oh, she offered me crackers. I'm a celiac. She offered me saltine crackers. I said, I can't have gluten. It's in my chart. Oh, I'm so sorry. So she brought me cranberry juice. I thought that would be enough. An hour later, I woke up throwing up. So she brought me apple juice. The apple juice did the trick. The next morning, the lady in the bed next to me gets a phone call. How'd you sleep last night is the question, I think. She goes, well, I would have slept better if the lady in the bed next to me hadn't been talking all night. And I'm thinking, bitch, I was throwing up a lot after abdominal surgery. That same hospital gave me breakfast eventually that morning. They gave me 3 sources of gluten in my breakfast, and I was immediately so sick. It was awful. That hospital was awful. So anyway, guys, all that to say, unless you have a condition or you're on a medication, if you want to maintain or lose weight, I'm sorry. Most of my friends are overweight. We're in our 60s. Most of my friends are overweight. It's just a fact. You have to cut the calories and you have to up the exercise if you can. I know it's not possible for me right now. I get through the day, I pick one major thing I'm going to do. If I'm really blessed, I can get 2 things done. I have to mow the front lawn today. I have to. That's just a need to do. Otherwise, I'm going to have to mow it tomorrow. I'd rather get it done today. And I have to vacuum my house, my living room, and I have to sweep. Sweeping is easy. I sweep the hard floors, no big deal. That's easy. And I'll probably wash the floors. I've got one of those Swiffer type things. I don't know what brand it is, but I'll probably do that as well. That's easy too. It's just pushing this lightweight thing. It's no big deal. But vacuuming, oh my gosh, you guys, vacuuming takes it out of me. It's awful. Plus, I've got to vacuum the living room 4 times to get all the dog hair. So it's not just an easy deal. I have to vacuum. Hey, Deborah, again, you're back. Nice to see you. So I can't add exercise to my regimen. I can only do what I can do. What I can do right now is cut my calories. That's all I can do to lose weight. So for my girlfriends from high school that are struggling so hard with their weight, they're struggling with diabetes, the high blood pressure, all of the things. I'm sorry, ladies, sisters, you just have to cut your intake. It's horrible. I hate, you have to make the choice. Am I going to eat dinner or am I going to have dessert? You can't have both anymore, not at our age. Am I going to have dessert or a cocktail? You can't have both anymore. You can't do dinner, dessert, and a cocktail if you want to lose weight, unless that's all you're taking in for the whole day. Yeah, Deborah, they are. When I mow the grass, I just back away from it because there's really there's no bike path at all. Cars are inches away from the curb right there, just inches away. So when I'm mowing, I have my wheels up on the curb and I push the mower along, and I definitely move out of the way because a car wouldn't have to be, too distracted to come over and get me. It's really close. All right, you guys, how long have we been on here? 77 minutes, almost 78 minutes. That's crazy. Thanks to the 16 that gave me a thumbs up. If you did subscribe, I thank you ahead of time. I haven't checked yet. Appreciate it. I don't do a lot of these lives in the morning, but I do enjoy doing them. And I will come back and do a live if the guys ever come back to finish that middle window right there. There's a piece of trim above the window that's missing, and for some reason they were painting around the outside of the window on the trim, and they did a crappy job. They're going to have to paint over that with white. It's hard to tell from here, but there's some really bad paint going on there. So I think that piece of trim up top needs to be placed, and they need to come do it. And I think there's some silicone that needs to be scraped off the window on the outside as well. They need to bring a razor and scrape that off the window. So when they come back to do that, hopefully I'll be home. Now this house is going to be wonderful when they're doing the work. There's going to be a lot of work done on that house. I'm curious to see if they pull that siding off, if there's brick or wood underneath. It's impossible to know what's underneath these houses. Ours is brick. Our neighbor's is brick. I don't know what the other neighbors are because they've got siding. So you guys, I'm going to go give my voice a rest, have a cup of coffee, make myself some breakfast, and I hope you guys have a blessed day. Thank you so much for being here, to the 11 that are here right now. Thank you. Definitely subscribe if you like Muscovy ducks. A lot of Muscovy ducks on my channel. If you like goats, got a lot of goats. If you like drag racing, motorcycles, cars, car shows. I try to go to car shows whenever they're in town. I missed one recently, and I'm really sorry about that. There's a Jeep show next Friday night. I have visitors from out of town. Unless we go to dinner there, we might go to dinner there. That would be fun. But unless we go to dinner there, I won't be able to do the Jeep show. But I was really hoping I could. Maybe I can get an excuse and go for a little bit, but I don't know. It's 6 o'clock. That's the dinner hour. I'll either be fixing dinner or we'll be going out to dinner. I can't eat. I'll just drink my dinner. Anyway, you guys, have an awesome, awesome day. And we'll see you soon. Hopefully, I'll be able to come back in and do another live real soon.